Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you for joining me for this video. What I'm going to be working with for this project is a piece of Idigbo, which is a wood that I had never heard of before until I went to see a joiner that's not far from where I live that has a workshop who builds stairs and doors and window cases, that sort of thing, and I've occasionally gone up to his workshop and bought some of his hardwood offcuts, and he actually gave me a piece of this Idigbo for free because I'd never heard of it and I don't know how it turns. I've never really seen anyone else use it, but it's got some really quite impressive grain, so I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out. I've no idea what it's going to be like to turn or how it's going to finish or what the finished colour will be. Just now it's like a pale yellow, so I'm excited to see just what we're going to be able to do with this. What I have in mind is something like a chip and dip bowl, except what I'll be using it for is for nuts. I'm quite partial to pistachio nuts, so I'll have an outer bowl with an inner cup that the shells of the pistachio nuts can go into. It can also be used as a chip and dip bowl, so a multifunctional bowl from the end of this. So let's get this mounted on the lathe and start turning it away. I have it mounted on the lathe using a worm screw that is in my chuck. The piece currently is 9.5 inches in diameter and about 2.5 inches thick, just over 2.5 inches really. So hopefully we'll be able to maintain quite a lot of that thickness that we have a high, or a deep bowl rather, and the finished diameter should be between 8.5 and 9 inches as well. I'll start by facing off the bottom and cutting in a mortise and shaping around the sides. At this stage I've sanded up to 400 grit, wet sanding with the 400 as well, using oil. So you can start to see now how the wood is going to look when it's finished, and it is absolutely stunning. The yellow colour has deepened to a golden brown, and the grain pattern is really quite stunning. That's my favourite part right there. I can't wait to see the patterns that we'll have on the inside. But I'm not going to sand any higher than 400 grit, because I'm going to use some Yorkshire grit, which is something I haven't used before. But the instructions say to sand to at least 240 grit, higher than 400 isn't necessary, making sure that the tool marks and radial marks have been removed. And then to add sanding sealer. So once this oil has dried, I'll add a few coats of sanding sealer, and then I'll add this Yorkshire grit, and we'll see the kind of results that it will give me. I'm interested to see how it will compare to how I normally do with wet sanding, up to 600 or 800 grit, and then adding the sanding sealer and finishing. Okay, I've worked that Yorkshire grit in now for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then taken the residue off with a clean paper towel. And you can see we have quite a nice high sheen finish there. So I think the Yorkshire grit works really well in really smoothing out your workpiece after your initial sanding and treating the wood as well. So for the top coat for this, I'm going to use a stick of carnauba wax. And that is the outside finished. We'll flip it over and we'll start hollowing. Okay, got a bit interrupted on this project. As you can see, we'll have the outside finished, we're ready now to work on the top. But what interrupted this project was the acquisition of this haul of freshly cut elm with a large burr at the back as well. So I have a separate video for that I'll put a card to, that you can go and check that out if you haven't already. But for now, let's get back to finishing this bowl. As I said at the start, this is intended for nuts and it's going to be styled after a chip and dip bowl, so I thought I might as well make it in such a way that it can be both. So while my wife and I were out shopping, we came across a few little bowls like this. So I got one so that I can hollow out a cup in the centre of this for this to sit into, and then I can have salsa or some other kind of dip to have with crisps or whatever. And when I'm just using nuts, the pistachio shells I can just have in the cup without that. So what I'll do first is I'll hollow out a small recess for this to sit into. Once I've done that, then I'll hollow out the rest of the bowl that will hold the chips or the nuts. I'm giving that a quick sand with 150 grit just to check and see that there's no torn grain or tool marks or anything, and it's looking pretty good. I'll hold off on finishing that until I've hollowed out some of this, as I still need to face this off, so that height might drop a little bit and create a gap around the bowl there, which I don't want. I want that to sit nice and tight on there. So I'll face this off first and see if I maybe need to go a bit deeper with that. Right, that's it hollowed out now. So I've used the scraper at the end there to remove the tool marks that were left with the gouge. I'll give it a light sand now up to 320, add a bit of oil, wet sand with 400 just to fill in the pores of the grain a little bit before putting on some sanding sealer and then the Yorkshire grit. At this stage we're polished up with the Yorkshire grit now. It's got a lovely smooth feel to it and quite a high sheen as well. And we'll finish this off again with carnauba wax just to seal the wood with a food safe finish. And here we have the finished bowl. I'm really impressed with this Idigbo. As I said before, I had never heard of it before I went to see that joiner, and this piece I got for free just because I had no experience with it, but I'm really impressed with it. It was really nice to turn, and the grain is exceptional as well. It takes a really good finish as well. You can see just with the wax we have a really high gloss finish there. The grain on the inside as well, with that little bowl, is just gorgeous. So this little bowl I can take it out or I can put in depending on what I'm going to use it for. So it's going to be a really multifunctional bowl this. I'm really happy with it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't turned Idigbo yourself, you should definitely look it up and see if you can find a piece of it. It really is nice to turn. But thanks again for watching. If you're a subscriber, thanks very much for continuing to support me and watch my videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take the time to click subscribe and check out some of my other videos on my channel. I'm sure you'll see something there that will be of interest to you. Thanks very much.